Today we're taking a look at chapter 26 of Proverbs. Like snow in the summer or rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a sparrow in its flitting, like a swallow in its flying, an undeserved curse goes nowhere. A whip for the horse and a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of fools. Do not answer fools according to their folly, or you will be a fool yourself. Answer fools according to their folly, or they will be wise in their own eyes. It is like cutting off one's foot and drinking down violence, to send a message by a fool. The legs of a disabled person hang limp, so does a proverb in the mouth of a fool. It is like binding a stone in a sling to give honor to a fool, like a thorn bush brandished by the hand of a drunkard, in a proverb in the mouth of a fool. Like an archer who wounds everybody is one who hires a passing fool or drunkard. Like a dog that returns to its vomit is a fool who reverts to his folly. Do you see persons wise in their own eyes? There is more hope for fools than for them. The lazy person says, "There is a lion in the road, there is a lion in the streets." As a door turns on its hinges, so does a lazy person in bed. The lazy person buries a hand in the dish and is too tired to bring it to the mouth. The lazy person is wiser in self-esteem than 7 who can answer discreetly. Like somebody who takes a passing dog by the ears is one who meddles in the quarrel of another. Like a maniac who shoots deadly firebrands and arrows, so is one who deceives a neighbor and says, "I am only joking." For lack of wood the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, quarreling ceases. As charcoal is to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome person for kindling strife. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down to the inner parts of the body. Like the glaze covering an earthen vessel are smooth lips with an evil heart. An enemy dissembles in speaking while harboring deceit within. When an enemy speaks graciously, do not believe it. For there are 7 abominations concealed within. Though hatred is covered with guile, the enemy's wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and a stone will come back on the one who starts it rolling. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Well, chapter 26 is quite possibly one of the most interesting chapters that I've had this couple of sessions. Today, we start out talking all about the fool and the fool's foolish ways. Right away, our chapter starts out with this quite pointed verse. Like snow in the summer or rain in the harvest, honor is not fitting a fool. And so we have to remember, in Palestine, in the summertime, it's extremely hot, so snow is going to be out of place. And just like during the time of harvest, rain is going to be out of place. We wouldn't expect here to see rain during harvest, and so it is in Palestine as well. You wouldn't expect to see the rain in harvest. And so it is a fool with honor. It's out of place. It doesn't go together. If we give a fool the honor that they shouldn't receive, it's going to self-inflate. It's going to make them seem wiser. And then those words, it says, can become hurtful and do more harm than good. And so it's advising us to be aware of doing these things that might give false honor, that might give false hope to those that are like fools. And quite harsh this chapter is today. We go back to chapter 26, where they talk about the dog. The fool is like a dog that returns to its vomit. So the fool is constantly returning to that which isn't good. They make the mistakes and they aren't learning from those mistakes. They're not using wisdom. Sages would often use a fool as their specific target, as their special target, because they knew that it would just kind of like hit them in the head and fall right back off or go right over their heads. They wouldn't get it. They make the mistakes. They don't heed wisdom. They're not following that. And so then we have in verse 9 today, as we look a little bit further along, that it reminds us if we use Proverbs and wisdom foolishly, it's going to do more harm than good, but it's also going to come back to us, and it's going to ultimately, it's going to be our downfall if we use these things unwisely and foolishly in our lives. That the whole congregation, it says in one translation, will know what we have done if we act foolishly and we use things inappropriately. And so we are called to be on guard with today's chapter. We are called to be mindful and to use that wisdom to make those mistakes. You know, we grow up and it says, our parents, our teachers will say, it's okay to make mistakes because you are going to learn from them. But if we don't learn from them, then we are the fool because we aren't heeding that wisdom. We aren't gleaning that insight we've got from that mistake. If we keep making it over and over and over and over and over again, we become like the fool that doesn't heed that wisdom. And we aren't learning from those things. And so that's what it's reminding us in verse 9. And then in verse 27, again, that idea that we deceive ourselves when we don't have the truth in us. And so we are called to be on guard today. Don't be foolish. Don't be so sure of yourself all of the time. Be humble of heart and mind and have the truth and wisdom within, and that will help guard and protect you from foolish and evil ways that can harm and hurt. And so we have two questions. Are there mistakes that you have made in your life that you can say you have learned from? So what are those mistakes? And have you learned from them? And can you continue to learn from them? And then the second question is, how does the wisdom that we're learning from Proverbs and from the Gospels and from the Apostles, how does all of this wisdom help to shape our future decisions? How do we learn from those so we don't become foolish in our ways? Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you tomorrow as we wind down the last couple days of our study of Proverbs. Have a great day.